emergency exits.
Hello, everybody. This is Ron, your captain speaking. We are currently 30,000 feet in the air, and we haven't even left the airport. We just lit the joint. Just kidding, a little pilot humor there. We like to have fun. Our destination today is Casablanca, Morocco. So everyone, sit back, fasten your seatbelts, and prepare for takeoff. We will be arriving in 6 hours and 58 minutes, so sit back and enjoy the ride, okay?
Hell yeah, I like to travel. I like to travel, but I don't got a plan. Catch me rolling through your city, yeah. Got my toes in the sand. I think I got some wanderlust, but I don't give a damn. Touching down on the asphalt, passport stamps, don't know when all ends.
Hey, I ain't really trying to fuss about it. I just want to take off on a Boeing jet. All I got's a little
7 footers. What is up, gang? We are back. You guys know who it is. Jarod and Jenna here.
Back and better than ever. Rested up after our All-Star extravaganza.
That is right. I actually have a cute photo of us in the airport to put up on the Instagram. Once we get in the swing of things. But did you notice, like, work catching up after All-Star was crazy? Like this
God.
Week after All-Star, I was just all over the place.
Well, and that's why we left the fans with just some special mini episodes from our time last week or the week before when we were in Chicago, because it's just catching up and getting your stories done and figuring out what's next and getting into this stretch run of the NBA season, the last third, because playoffs will be here before we know it.
Heck yes. And we don't have all the time in this episode to recap you, but I will say, although it was freezing, All-Star was incredible. We had a great time. Jarod and I were running around like crazy. More Jarod than I. He was putting in that work. I feel like we have two different like work styles when we go there. Mine is more of the like social, like, you know, hanging with the peeps, you know what I'm saying? Jarod's in his loafers typing on his computer in the corner trying to put a story up while I'm on my 4th glass of wine.
I mean, that's probably an accurate description.
No, but you did, for real, though. You put in work.
Listen, I appreciate it. I mean,
hustled.
All-Star was really about, you know, obviously getting a bunch of stories up and, you know, shouts to BET. We put a lot of content out. Yeah,
you guys did.
And we, you know, shouts to Jordan Brand and Puma and all the various partners out there that really made it great for us. We had the Craig Williams interview. I'm sure you guys all saw that. President Jordan Brand, that was great. Spent time with the Puma Lounge. You know, it was an exciting trip in All-Star. There's so much going on there. Yeah. And, you know, now that we're starting to become veterans of All-Star Weekend, we know how to plan our schedules, right? It's like, okay, these are the things that we're going to hit, because you can't hit everything. There's just way too many things to do.
It's impossible, honestly, to wrap your head around it and get around everywhere, especially when things are spread apart like they were in Chicago. But like one day, I hopped on the social media and was like, Jarod's at Rising Stars, watch us there. And he was all over that.
Yeah, you're the celebrity game, right?
Because
that's the thing. Rising Stars was at United, and Celebrity Game was at Wintrust.
They
right?
were totally separate entities so far.
Which is crazy. Like, in distance, they're not far, but because of the traffic in Chicago, they made it far. Right? They're not that far apart, but it's just that's the setup. You know?
And just lastly, a big thank you to all of the people and the brands and the different colleagues of ours that embrace the 7 footers at All-Star. Puma was so hospitable to us with the lounge and everything. Hennessy was great to
Mitchell
us. Mitchell and Ness. Jordan was very good to you. Yes. I mean, it's just incredible how much they really, and the NBA.
And the NBA, they do an excellent job.
They do.
And it's their showcase weekend, and it was awesome. It was a really good time.
Yes, thank you to all. Now we need to jump in here because we've been setting you guys up with temporary pods from our coverage at All-Star. Jarod Sit Down with Jordan Brand and so much more. So go check that out. But let's start out here recapping a bit. Kobe and Gigi's public memorial at Staples Center on February 24th. 2/24/20, a respectful date to have it.
Very fitting.
It was sensational. It was, to quote Doc Rivers, it was beautiful. Not a dry eye in the house. Beyonce opened with 2 songs, EXO and Halo. It was great.
Man, that was
I mean, it was incredible. She paid homage to both Gigi, Kobe, and you know, their legacy. She had her nails done with their names on them, and I mean, Vanessa's speech. I mean, it takes the strength of that. She resembled Mamba mentality when she went up there.
For sure. Listen, and what Vanessa and the family wanted to call it was, Kobe and Gigi is a memorial, but the celebration of life, right? Like, and what I think you got from there were all the behind the scenes stories of who they were as people, right? Because of course, Kobe being who he is, like he seems more like myth and godlike than he does like an actual human being.
Yeah.
And even though Gianna was only 13, she was taking on that same type of persona because, again, being the daughter of Kobe Bryant and being seen everywhere at these games, that was the vibe and the aura that just to not pun intended, the halo effect, right?
Yeah.
Of being the daughter of Kobe Bryant. That's what was being taken away. I thought it was beautifully done. Obviously, Beyonce opening it incredibly with EXO and Halo. And we said this before on our Kobe tribute episode, and I don't want to belabor the point, and we're gonna not talk about this the whole episode, but it is remarkable. And what we have to remember about Vanessa Bryant is this is a woman who is 37 years old. She spent the majority of her life, 20 of her 37 years, she was with Kobe Bryant. The majority of her life, what she knows is being a wife and a mother. That is what her entire life has been. And because the memories before that, she was a child, right? So
yeah, I mean, they started dating when they were 17.
It is remarkable the strength that she had up on that stage. First, let's take this into consideration. We speak in public often and do various things, whatever. Forget about the magnitude of the moment. Let's just talk about strictly standing in front of a large audience. The nerves in front of 20,000 people alone, regardless of what you're going to talk about, whether you're telling jokes, whether you're whatever it's going to be, that in and of itself is nerve-wracking on its own. Then on top of that, the reason why I'm here in front of all these people.
Not
right?
to mention 20,000 people inside Staples
Oh,
Center.
and the millions worldwide.
Yes. To everybody streaming it
Yes.
from all the networks all over.
It was incredible. It was moving. And you could tell the notes that she had and what she wrote were that was a mother and a wife just pouring out from her heart.
Absolutely.
That's what it was. I mean, so many lines stuck out. Two imperfectly people, perfect in love. Like, all these, I mean, just like,
and
it was incredible.
Like you said, we found out intimate details about their lives that we didn't know before, like Kobe giving her the dress from the Notebook, the blue dress. Guys, if you haven't seen the Notebook, please. This is the blue iconic dress when she comes back to Noah after their love is lost, but it's really not. I won't go on, but that is what it is. I mean, talk about a gesture as a husband.
It was
like that.
And that is who Kobe was, and that is, that was her love, her best friend, her everything, right? And what I loved about it too, she started her remarks about Gigi first, right? I want to start with my baby first, right? Like, and the way that Gigi had her own agency in this.
She didn't get lost in the celebration
not
of
at
life.
all. Stood on her own, in many ways, toe to toe, right? And the line Vanessa hit with, well, God knew that you guys couldn't be on earth with each other, so he had to take you together. Like, that was just like, oh my God. Good Lord.
Yeah,
like,
that was the one that was circulating a lot around the internet as well.
Even though we didn't know them personally on that level, we could see that in how they were.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she was very much a daddy's girl and very much his daughter, like, of course her daughter too, but they were like,
out of all of them, it seemed
they were
as
like,
though,
frickin' frack, the two of them,
she
right?
was the closest to him.
And that came out, and that was evident in all the stuff we saw, and with all the people talking about Gigi, from Sabrina Ionescu to Diana Taurasi to Gina Oriema.
Yeah.
Like, and when I was on at All-Star, I talked to the women's national team, and I talked to Diana, and she relayed some of the same things to me when we were walking and talking about Gigi. And Neka Agumike said the same thing to me. I mean, they could see it. They saw that Gigi, and it wasn't this forced thing, right? She just had that same thirst and quest and knowledge for the game, like her dad. She's a wonderful sister, loved doing TikTok videos, like loved hanging out with their teammates, like all these
And
wonderful,
baking, like,
all these wonderful things
that we learned.
Yeah. And so it was well done, well put on. Kudos to Jimmy
Yes.
Kimmel, who, hosted that extremely well.
Yeah.
Rob Pelinka, I mean,
Great.
amazing
Yeah.
stories.
Shaq.
Oh my God.
Oh,
The
gosh.
Shaq was hilarious.
That story.
Oh, I mean, and that story was so Kobe, right?
That was
right.
good.
I know
That
there's
was
no
so-
I in team, but there's a me MFer. Like, I mean, that's classic Kobe, right? And someone who I thought really we saw a different side of him, Michael Jordan.
Yes.
He often is someone who lives in this world where we feel like we see him and know him, but he's so far away.
He's so far
Right,
away. We
and-
associate him not with public speaking.
And we talk about this mythical godlike figure that Kobe is. That is Jordan like times a
Yeah,
million, right?
yeah.
Like there's this aura and presence around him that it's like, whoa.
And I think part of it is because he keeps up that kind of private persona.
Without question. But he let us in on Monday morning LA time, Monday afternoon East Coast time, in a way he has never let us in anything before in his life.
He was hysterically crying.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
it was something. It was surreal. It was a side of him we have arguably never seen.
We've never
ever.
seen it. We've
in
never
his
seen it.
career, anything.
Nothing.
From the
Nothing.
championships won, the
None of
emotions
that.
that he exemplified at this service was. I mean, I really truly do hope the younger generations got to see that, so they can,
Oh yeah.
have that memory of Jordan.
This made him so human because that's the thing. He's so godlike to us, but this made him so human.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful story. And again,
Yeah.
a wonderful celebration of the lives of two people who, of course, are going to be tragically missed. But, rest
Yeah.
in peace to Kobe and Gigi Bryant.
Absolutely. And it was beautiful. So let's move on here. We need to talk about the man of the hour, Bradley Beal.
Woo!
All right. Bradley Beal, he just makes my heart warm. Okay. Bradley Beal, first player, speaking of Kobe, to drop 50 points in 2 consecutive games in a row, obviously, since Kobe. I mean, the man combined for 103 points
Yeah.
in the past
Yeah.
2 games
Yeah.
to bring the Wizards not to a loss on Monday.
Back-to-back losses, but,
I mean, back-to-back losses. He drops 50 in each game, and he still can't propel the Wizards to a win. And I don't
the
mean
team is so
I
bad.
don't mean I don't say that and can't as in
It's
Beal
Brad's fault.
can't do
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah.
not his fault.
Yeah.
He's doing everything he can. I mean, the man is turning it up and turning it out every night. So, hint, spoiler, that's part of one of my What's Up with. So I can't really say much about
Okay,
the subject because
okay.
a lot is about to come out.
Well, what I'll say is this: the game he most recently scored 53 was Monday night. We're recording this on a Tuesday, so Monday night against the Bucks.
58% from the field.
And the Wizards were playing without Thomas Bryant and without Davis Bertans, and they took the Bucks to overtime. Right? I mean, they just
Yeah.
could not get over that hump, though. But Brad was amazing, and God, imagine if Bradley Beal was on a competent team. I mean, woo!
Again, I
yeah,
have things to say about that as well.
All good. So, but we just have to give Bradley his props. I
do.
I thought he's been performing. He's played well all year. I thought he was actually kind of an all-star snub, right? Like
He was an all-star
Brad-
sub, kind of. He
Brad-
was.
Brad should have been an all-star. The question is, who do we take out? I'll have to look at the rosters again to see who we move
And-
off that list. But he was an all-star snub.
Not to mention, all-star snub, speaking of that, what was it? He was, I think, one of the only players or the only player to notch a certain amount of, I'm trying to think of how to word it. He was the only player to have a certain amount of points in each consecutive game that didn't make it as an all-star ever.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yes. In terms of combined scoring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, at the end of the day, it is a popularity contest.
It is. It's also about wins. And look,
True.
the Wizards are not good, right, at basketball. As
No.
a team,
And
they're
plus,
just
they don't
not.
have John Wall either.
They don't have John Wall, and there are a lot of things that are wrong about Washington. But look, Beal signed that extension. He says he wants to stay and stick it out.
I mean, he
I-
secured the bag.
I wonder, can someone put together a package good enough to pry him away from the Wizards? Because, I mean, you put him on a team that's
If he plays like that,
contending.
I would.
Woo, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Where he would look nice, and I don't know how this will work salary-wise. Imagine him next season playing the 2 guard with, again, I have to look at money, so don't freak out. But imagine him with KD and Kyrie in Brooklyn. Woo, boy. You got a Beal, Kyrie backcourt, KD at the 4. Woo, boy.
Right.
Or 3, whatever, however you want to.
Don't get me going here. Don't get me going.
That's a nice squad. Now, the Nets would have to give up a lot to get that, right? For sure, Dinwiddie and LeVert gone, right?
100%, yeah.
Well, and again, because remember, salary's got to match,
Yeah.
right? That's the other thing, right? Jarrett Allen probably got to go too. Pick, like draft. A lot of things have to go, but that might leave the cupboard too bare for them to compete at a high enough level. Because then you have to fill out the rest of the roster with, minimums.
Exactly. I was going to say, so you're not going to get much help.
Because what that is, that's 3 max players, right? And when you have 3 max guys, well, you don't have a whole lot of room for everything else.
We've seen that one.
we have seen that. Anyway, so just a thought, but, we're going to start a campaign, #free Bradley Beal.
Literally, though, honestly. I mean, he has a good attitude, though, about being in Washington. He signed the extension. I mean, we'll see. We shall see. It's going to be interesting to see John Wall come back and see how that...
Yeah, how good he's going to be,
That's gonna go.
Coming off the Achilles.
Yes. I mean, he looks good, so we'll see.
Speaking of, you seen video of KD post looking?
Yeah, I seen that today. Yeah, I seen that new stuff today.
At practice today.
Yeah, I saw that. That's why I said today.
Looking good.
Yeah,
well, you saw the stuff from him at UCLA over All-Star break.
Yep. Saw All-Star break, saw him doing the jumpers in the gym.
The jumper's still wet, which we always knew it was going to be. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Okay. Rub that salt in the wound a little bit more. All right, let's move on here because we got to talk about more salt and wounds.
Oh, boy.
All right, Philadelphia 76ers. All right, they were blown out by the Bucks last Saturday. All right, Ben Simmons is out indefinitely for at least the next 2 weeks with a bad back. And we have Shams reporting tests on 76ers. Whoop, just lost my note there. But anyway, tests on Ben Simmons say he's going to be evaluated even more, and he's out for, 2 more weeks?
So at a minimum. Well,
minimum 2 weeks.
Because he's going to get evaluated in 2 weeks, which that doesn't mean he's going to be cleared to play.
Yeah.
That just means we're going to check him out. If all things check out in 2 weeks, then there's another set of protocols I have to go to before he plays. Look, we're looking at 3 weeks. It's indefinite is what Shams is reporting. Yeah. And the Sixers are ready to play an indefinite amount of time with him sidelined.
Yeah, he's got a nerve impingement in the lower back. So, evaluation will happen in 2 weeks.
And backs are tricky.
Backs are tricky. And in the meantime, we're going to need Joel Embiid to obviously fill that gap. And then it comes down to also whose presence is bigger on the floor.
Well, look, so the Sixers won a game on Monday night against the Hawks. And Joel Embiid had a career-high 49 points, 14 rebounds. He also flipped off Kevin Huerter at the end of the game, which
classic.
Classic Embiid.
Thought we were going to calm down this season.
And obviously, and all of our listeners know, Joel Embiid is one of my favorite players in the league. I really enjoy his game. I think he's a hilarious dude. Like, interactions with him from a media perspective are always fun. But I'm going to say this and say this now.
And I'm going to agree. I have a feeling.
It's time for him to stop fooling around and strap up his pants and let's get to work. Yeah. Okay? You talk about, I'm the best player in the game, I'm this, I'm that, I'm all these other things. Yo, man, you didn't look like the best player in the game last Saturday when Giannis gave it to you. Exactly.
And the problem with him is, as we've discussed on this show too, is consistency. He dropped 49 the other night. That's stellar. We know what you can do.
Right.
So do that every night in and night out if you are the best player.
That's what the best player does.
Exactly.
The best player shows up every single night.
And
when
we're not saying you can't have an off night.
No,
but
they affect the game in other ways, right?
Exactly.
And that's on both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively. And now, for Philadelphia, this could be, I don't want to say blessing in disguise because that's not right, but here's what this could be. This obviously hurts them on both sides of the floor. Yes, we know Ben doesn't shoot, but offensively, when he leads the break, he's
effective in other ways.
He's a one-man fast break. He's a pure natural passer. All those things.
Yeah.
Defensively, it hurts them big time because he is their best defender. Can switch on to anyone. An elite defender, all NBA defense player. But what we're going to have now is they're going to have to play a little bit differently. A little bit of a slow down pace, dump the ball into Embiid. Listen, Brett Brown's got to take this back to 80s and 90s style basketball where we throw the ball into the big man, right? And we work off of that. That has to be the game plan for them now. And Harris and everybody else, they eat off of him, right?
Well, the thing is, like you said, the pace is going to be slower now.
Has to be.
So we're not having any more fast breaks to the bucket.
Well, look, you run when you can, but they're not going to be able to run all that much.
No, but if you're going to pass it to the big man and rely on Joel Embiid, which we know that has to be the game plan, it's going to be a matter of these teams are going to try and shut him down. So when he gets frustrated and can't have that consistent game, who do you turn to on the Sixers? They already don't have outside shooting.
He's going to have to man up and figure out a way. Hey, you got to play bully ball down there, my man. Draw fouls. Go to the free throw line 15 times a night. Hey, that's what it's going to be. When you're doubled, quick pass out. And guess what? No Ben Simmons, so we're relying on Shake Milton and Raul Neto and Alec Burks, right? These are dudes that got to hit shots. And listen, we've been letting these dudes skate. Tobias Harris and Josh Richardson. Yo, man, you got to hit threes. Furkman Korkmaz, you got to hit shots. Matisse Thybulle, rookie, but hey, you got to step it up. These are the guys that have to play well. Al Horford, another one. Like, you're going to have to raise your game. Everyone has to raise their game, but nobody more so than Joel Embiid.
100%.
You are the process as you. And listen, I'm not doubting any of those things about him. But my man, now it's that time. You got to call, demand for the ball. And listen, no more huffing and puffing and waving your hands. Hey, I need a breather. Nah, man. You got to play minutes and bang and do what you got to do, because this Philadelphia 76ers team throughout this regular season have been underachieving, right? Like record-wise. They look like an NBA Finals team at home. On the road, a lottery team, right? And that, like,
great description.
That is not.
I do agree.
We can't have that.
I mean, they're obviously not going to replace Ben Simmons.
No.
I mean, they replace him with second-year point guard, backup point guard Shake Milton.
Again, Shake Milton and Raul Neto. Listen,
now
they're not going to replace Ben Simmons.
No.
But what you hope they can do is be effective in getting them into their offense, which means getting the ball inside of Joel Embiid. And can Embiid pass out of the double team to guys like Harris, et cetera? Are they even going to double, right? Like,
yeah.
If they're not going to double, punish them every time.
Well, here's the thing. Now we're headed into March, right? We're in the latter half of this season. Crunch
Latter
time is
third.
Crunch time is happening. I believe they just announced the first date of the
June
first
4th.
NBA Finals game.
June 4th.
So it's getting real. So now, to me, I think obviously all eyes are going to be on Joel Embiid now, but all eyes are also going to be on Brett Brown, because this is going to be a test of how he can coach and how well he can coach the roster he has without his starting all-star point guard and Ben Simmons. So now it's time for the role players to step up, or to establish a role. And now it's time for Joel Embiid to really show what he has. He's been talking, but now we need to see that 49-point game happen every single night while Ben is out.
And I mean, right, you're not going to average 49 and 14.
No, but
during this stretch,
be effective.
What he needs to be doing is 30-something, and he needs to be putting up Giannis numbers, basically.
100%,
right?
yeah.
30 points, 14 boards.
30, 10, and 10 at least.
You need to be doing that while Ben is out. Those are what your averages have to be.
Absolutely.
You elevate your game as the leader, as the best player. The rest of the guys got to follow suit.
Now, what seed are they?
They're number 4,
now.
I believe, right now. Let me pull that up really quick.
So are we nervous about their playoff contention?
Look, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Their ceiling defensively is still very high. Now, that is contingent on Ben Simmons playing. Without Ben Simmons, they have no chance of advancing to the finals.
No.
Because, again, forget about what Ben, and they're the 5th seed right now, half game behind Miami, who's the 4th seed. Miami, who's been faltering of late, by the way.
Well, they have a tough schedule, too, I think.
Miami's 4-6 in their last 10, not playing great. Defensively is still why I like the 76ers. But if Ben Simmons is not playing, they're not as good defensively, because at that point he can switch on to anyone 1 through 5.
And that's the good part about Ben Simmons, an argument that a lot of people put up, and I would too. Although, there's the lack of shooting, or the lack of even
attempting to shoot.
Right. He finds ways to be effective on the floor, regardless, whether it's fast breaks to the bucket, whether it's on defense, his speed, his length, his height. So, like you said, without him, it's a no-go.
Yeah, look, we kill Ben because of the shooting and the offensive, what he
people
doesn't
love
do.
to hate on people's weaknesses.
But the things he does do well, he's really good at those things.
Like elite.
Yes,
level.
elite at those
yes,
things. So
100%.
This is going to be a tough loss for Philly, but again, put up or shut up time.
Exactly. It's time to step up. So let's see that now. All right, let's move into everyone's favorite game.
America's #1 segment.
Love it. What's up with, as you guys know, Jarod and I go rogue on this one and pick our own topics as to say what is up with said player, situation, team around the league. We give our take and what's going on here. Do we need to pick things up? Do we need to slow things down? Or do we need to figure things out?
Love it.
All right, you kick it off. We have 2 each this week.
What is up with Chris Middleton?
Ooh.
You didn't see that one coming, did you?
Pulled that out of the bottom of the bag. Do tell why.
Well, so the Milwaukee Bucks are obviously the best team in the NBA record-wise, right? 49-8. And look, I've been someone on this pod who, I'm not going to say hater, but I've always been sort of like, are we sure Chris Middleton is good, right?
I've heard that before.
That's always been my thing.
Well, with alone. Right.
And my question was always, I know what Giannis is, right? And by the way, did you see that turnaround jumper that Giannis now has? Listen.
Where did he get that?
That's a real problem, by the way.
That's extremely problematic.
That's a real problem because the issue, again, defensively in the playoffs is you wall off so he can get to the rim. Well, he's got his counter to that now. And if he's hitting that turnaround jumper that's from like 12 feet, forget it.
And how old is this kid?
Lights out. Giannis 25? 26?
Jeez.
Giannis is young. So anyway, but this is about Chris Middleton. So my question was always, is he good enough to be the second best player on a championship team?
Yes, right? We've been asking
that. That is what I've always been asking. And I watch a lot of Milwaukee Bucks, and I watch a lot of, and I know what my eyes are telling me, and so you know me, Jenna. My eyes are telling me something, but my brain doesn't want to agree with my eyes. I'm like, I got to go to these numbers, man.
Because, of course you do.
Well, because there is some kind of disconnect happening.
I got you.
All right? Jenna, it ain't the numbers, man. That ain't it, because the numbers say he is excellent. And look, he's an all-star, obviously. And you know me, counting stats are what they are, whatever. He's averaging 20-something points a game, blah, 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 all that. He's 50, 40, 90, right? Which is 50% from the field, 40% from 3, 90% from the free throw line, which is the mark of an elite shooter. Jenna, he is excellent at everything. He is averaging 1.13 points per possession. That is insanely good. Excellent. That's like James Harden territory, right?
Ooh.
Like in transition, 1.2 points per possession. In the half court, 1.0 points per possession. He's incredible. The threes, the mid-range, everything is working. In that game Monday that we talked about against the Wizards, Giannis was in foul trouble. Middleton had 40-plus points. Middleton was that dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Look, of course, in the playoffs, everybody's numbers go down a little bit and dip. But if Middleton plays well, like he's played all regular season in the postseason, you ain't beating the Bucks. If Giannis is doing Giannis things and Middleton is consistent like he's been, I don't really know how you beat them, right? Unless, of course, everyone else on the roster is atrocious, right? Like Bledsoe's bad. The Lopez twins don't hit threes.
Yeah.
Which, could happen.
It could happen, but the percentage of that.
My point is that Middleton is playing like a bona fide number 2.
That's right.
And so
he must have been listening to you, Jarod.
So it's not. The disconnect is about bias, right? And the bias is he signed a max deal, and I'm like, is he a max player? Right? And the idea is
once the ink hits that paper, you become one.
Well,
let me tell you, because once that first check rolls in,
right? The money says he is, and his play this year is saying that he is. And listen, Shaq said this beautifully once when I asked him a question about this, because when we all do it, it's does player X or this team have championship DNA? Well, nobody has it until you win it, right? You don't have championship DNA until you win a championship.
Yeah.
So how do you know if a person has it until they do it? I'm starting to become a believer in the fact that this Bucks team and Chris Middleton in particular can be the second best player on a title team if Giannis is your number 1 player playing he's playing, and if Middleton can keep up at this level, because
I agree.
He's excellent.
Yeah.
He's excellent. So Shouts to Chris Middleton.
So we're going to have to keep an eye on him, though, and see if we can keep this up.
Right. We're going to watch him in the playoffs and see what it looks like.
Yes. Okay. Me.
Yes, you.
All right. This has me worried. What is up with the Brooklyn Nets? You're a team.
Yeah,
I'm going to say this.
They're not my team,
Well, you know
but
what
the
I'm
team that I
saying.
see
The
more
team that you are
frequently.
very close with,
Yes,
we'll say.
Yeah.
I say this because Kyrie Irving
Done for the season.
done for the season indefinitely. He's going to decide to do shoulder surgery on the shoulder that caused him to miss 26 games plus.
Right.
Okay, he's out.
Yep.
KD is not coming back this
Nope.
season. Okay. So in my eyes, they just made it through the playoffs in that last seed last year.
There were 7 seed last
Seven
year. So
seed, yeah. So they just made it, and they fought hard to get there. Let's say that.
Yeah.
So now, in my opinion, they're in the same place, yet they just have the addition of DeAndre Jordan. So we're at a standstill again. we're here again. Here we are. So what is the fix now? We just got to play even harder.
Well,
We're in the same roster spot as we were, except we have DeAndre Jordan. Not to mention, they lost last night after having what, a 20-point lead
I was at that game
above the Magic.
And
Come on.
It was, woo.
And Spencer Dinwiddie had a chance to hit a buzzer beater at the end.
He did. Karis LeVert got blocked going to the rim late.
Yeah.
By Aaron Gordon. Who,
That block was
Aaron
nasty
Aaron
too.
Gordon was killer in that game.
He was.
You
That's because
know,
they were trolling him.
Aaron Gordon turns Ross. They're saying second play.
Yeah. So my question is, I mean, what I'm saying is I'm concerned. We're here again in the same position, in my opinion.
So
That's what I'm saying.
What this is right now for the Nets and GM Sean Marks and Kenny Atkinson, this is time for Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jarrett Allen.
Here we go.
Those guys to show out.
It's time again.
Because the reality of it is 1, 2, or all 3 of you may not be here next year.
Nope.
Right?
So it's time.
Now, yes, and I know they're under contract and all that, but guess what? They could be trade bait.
100%. Because you know who you're keeping.
Well, we know who's staying.
Yep.
And so the question is, who is tradable and what can we get back? And do we want to keep this nucleus together with KD and Kyrie next season? Right? I threw out that like hypothetical Bradley Beal scenario. So this is going to be an important stretch run and playoff push.
Very important.
And appearance for the Brooklyn Nets. How hard do they fight as a team collectively, and how do those particular players look in the postseason, right? Because that's going to dictate for Sean Marks in this offseason, what do I do? Are we good? Okay, we're going to stand pat, wait till our 2 guys come back next year, we're going to roll with this bunch, or does he say, these guys are playing pretty well, we maximize what we think we can get out of them, let's see if we can get back someone of higher caliber for these pieces. A team that may be willing to get off the contract of a max or a higher level player, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, but that's a good one. That's a good what's up with.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really thought hard about this because as soon as I saw the news about Kyrie, I was like, wait a minute. Why do I feel like I've been here before? And I was like, oh, wait, here we are again.
Yeah.
So now we have these 3 core guys who have been there from day one, digging the Nets out of that hole, having to do it again. So it's going to be a test of them. And it's also going to be a little bit of like a resume builder, too, because we don't know what's going to happen to you guys next year.
And to be fair, those guys are under contract. But again, still, we don't know what's. The thing about this business is.
It's a business.
It's a business, and unless you're like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, like unless one of these dudes, anybody's available for trade.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also additionally going to be a test of Kenny Atkinson to see how he coaches this time around, being in the same similar position. Yet
and
let's
I think
go further.
I think Kenny's going to do a good job because I think he's most comfortable with this kind of squad. So I think these guys, Karis is going to start hunting his shot more. They're going to be more comfortable because part of it is when you have someone like Kyrie who's very ball dominant, it takes a while to learn how to play with them. These guys already know how to play with each other, so they're going to be comfortable, and it's going to be, okay, let's just do what we know how to do.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see how they play. And, odds are they don't get out of the 7 seed because right now they are 6 games back of the Indiana Pacers. So that's probably where they stay in that 7 range, which is likely going to be they're going to play Toronto most likely. So I don't think they're going to advance, but it'll be interesting to see how they stack up and play against a team like Toronto in the postseason.
Exactly. I mean, we'll see about that one. Now, you're up.
All right, my last what if. we just mentioned them. What is up with the Indiana Pacers, man? 3-7 in their last 10
Woof.
games. Not liking what I'm seeing out of them. They've been stumbling.
What's going on?
Defensively, they've been looking faulty. I wonder, did they overachieve in the first half without Oladipo? Is this the kinks of working Oladipo back into the lineup? Brogdon's been slipping of late, like not playing as well. I don't want to get panicked, but 3-7 in your last 10 is not great, right? Again, defensively is where they've fallen off the most. And, I think integrating Victor Oladipo back into the lineup's been a little bit more challenging than they would like to admit, probably. But, I still think this team has potential to make noise in the playoffs, but they got to right the ship over there. Head coach Nate McMillan, who was early in the run for coach of the year, this last stretch is probably going to take him out of it. Can these guys get back on track and figure out what is ailing them in Indiana? Again, and it starts for me on the defensive side of the ball.
Heck yeah. I mean, hopefully it's just working out the early kinks with Oladipo because he's been out for a while.
And when you're adding back a guy like Oladipo who's that good, again, when you already have a new piece in Brogdon, it's challenging.
Yeah,
right?
They haven't had the opportunity to play together, and that takes time too, as we've seen in the past with other teams.
Yep,
so.
And there's an injury, of course, that we will mention, of course, in our quick hitters. But that they're going through a little bit of a struggle right now, and I don't want to sound the alarm, but my antennas are up about Indiana.
Yeah. I mean, it's coming down to the wire here. All right, my last one, like I teased earlier, Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal has been playing, and we sleep on the Wizards because they're not they're not good right now.
20-36.
Yikes. Wow, when you put it like that.
5.5 games out of the 8th seed. So, 4.5, 28. Ooh, only 4.5 out of the. Listen, they can go on a little.
No, we can thank Mr. Beal for that. But anyway, speaking of Bradley Beal, so we were talking about it earlier. I think we forget that Bradley Beal has been carrying the Wizards since John Wall's injury. Yeah. And he's been out a very long time. So, although we hate on the Wizards, Bradley Beal has been showing out. And, we say, it's a team effort and this and that. It's about wins and losses. But individual play, Bradley Beal's incredible. So my worry right now is he signed the contract. He secured the bag. Great. So happy for him. He's very dedicated to Washington. But at the end of the day, my big question mark around him is Bradley Beal wasting his prime years? Is he? I mean, 50 points in back-to-back games, and you still can't get the Wizards to a win. What else is it going to take here? How much gas does this guy have in the tank at this point?
And that's the thing, right?
Or is he wasting his time, and does he think he's wasting his years?
What are they going to do in Washington, right? Is this like a rebuild? Like where
are we at?
Right, where are we at? And again, if that's what they want to do, Bradley is the only thing you can get stuff back for. We already talked about Wall. He's injured, so you're not getting anything back for Wall.
Exactly.
But Bradley, you can get stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So...
it's going to look real bad if the Wizards kind of shop him around, but it's like, do you want to rebuild or do you not? Do you want to center a rebuild around John Wall?
And Rui Hachimura and,
Yeah. And it just concerns me because this man is playing so good.
He's playing well.
And it's consistent throughout the whole season.
He's playing well. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they do in Washington. But no,
I was surprised when he signed that contract.
I mean, look, it's very rare that guys refuse the money that's on the table, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard to walk away from the max deal like that.
True, but do you also want to win?
You do. So it'll be interesting to see. Brad doesn't seem like the kind of guy who pushes.
No.
But hey, stranger things have happened.
Hey, that is right. But yeah, so we'll keep our eye on all of that. Let's talk about a few quick hits here. Do you have anything left from All-Star you want to contribute?
Nothing left from All-Star. Just you guys check out our coverage.
Yeah.
The couple of podcasts we dropped. And it was a great time. And All-Star, if you ever have a chance to go, you should definitely do that.
100%. So fun. And we're glad we took you guys along with us. Now, let's talk about another quick hit here because I found this incredibly fascinating about the strength of Jeremy Lamb. Okay, Indiana Pacers guard. Now, he is out indefinitely for the season. Pacers announced on Monday that he has a torn ACL, torn lateral meniscus, and a fracture all in his left knee. Came down weird on a fast break layup. Didn't look good. He knew something was bad when he went down. And he said in the post game that he hoped it wasn't too bad X-rays came back initially negative, but this is the verdict. We have no date for surgery as of now, February 25th, but he is out. But after that injury, he did come back and sink 2 free throws, which is what I meant by when I said the strength of this man.
Yep.
So, I mean, speedy recovery to him, it sucks.
It's going to hurt Indiana, right? We talked about them struggling.
Hell yeah.
And, I mean, Lamb is a key piece for them. And
key piece. He's averaging 27 he's 27, averaging 12.5 points, 4.3 rebounds.
And they're going to, again, by committee, TJ Warren's going to step up, play more minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Oladipo's back, so they're going to have to shoulder the load. It's going to, and he's a versatile guy, right? His length, and he can switch on defense. He can knock down threes. It's, again, 12 points doesn't sound like a lot, but the little things he can do and that shortens your rotation. The playoff rotations are already short to begin with.
Yeah.
Indiana's just got shorter, right?
Yep.
By one man, right? And that in the playoffs, when you only go 7 deep, maybe 8,
yep.
This is going to hurt, right?
Absolutely.
But wishing a speedy recovery to Jeremy Lamb.
100%, for real. And wishing a speedy recovery to Jarod's feelings after this next one. Because the Memphis Grizzlies forward, Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jarod's best friend, basically. He's out at least 2 weeks with a sprained knee. Now, we have to question whether they're going to hold the number 8 seed spot for the playoffs. Triple J is a bad hit to take right now.
Oh, huge. Look. Everyone knows in this podcast.
And knees are tricky.
I got all the love from my dude, Triple J. That's my guy. So I'm glad I got to talk to him at All-Star. And we dropped some sound from him in the podcast feed. This is going to hurt them because he is their best three-point shooter, right? So their spacing on offense is going to be clogged right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's number 1, problematic. Number 2, their schedule this last third of the season is tough. They came out of the All-Star. They're already on a losing streak out of the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And not having Jaren is really problematic. They lost 3 in a row. It's going to be tough for them to hold on to that 8 seed. They're 2.5 games up on Portland right now. Lillard's going to come back at some point and be healthy. The Pelicans are only 3 games back, and Zion's playing out of his mind. And we're going to have something to talk about Zion in a minute coming up, which will be interesting.
Unexpected.
But, and 2 weeks, right? And again, whenever we hear these injuries and we see the time frame, that is the time to get reevaluated. That doesn't mean you're going to play in 2 weeks.
That's a great point.
We're checking on you in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. If you are okay, there is a then next set of things you have to do to get cleared to play.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a minimum probably 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? At a minimum.
Uh-huh.
So this is going to hurt Memphis. And John Morant's got to step his game up. The new guys that came on board, they're going to have to step their game up. And
very young team.
They're young. And you know what I always say? It's hard for young guys to win in this league. And this is the most basketball John Morant's ever played in his life. Jaren's ever played in his life. Like, they talk about the rookie wall, all those things. We may start to see it. And it's unfortunate because I really think that this young Grizzlies team would have benefited from getting a little taste of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Being so young.
100%.
Now, they would have got dump trucked by the Lakers, but that's fine.
But you need to do that. You need
that to understand, as we always say, there's levels to this.
The pace and
right?
how tough it is.
Oh, yeah. You can rock on the regular season and do what you got to do.
Yep.
Let's see how you do in the playoffs.
100%.
When we know all your moves, all your counters, what you got now,
mm-hmm.
and what you have to work on to get better. But I will say this. Spending time around those guys, Jaren and Brandon Clark, who's also injured as well, which got injured, and John Morant, those guys are young and they're hungry and they don't have any back down in them, right? So they're going to fight.
The Grizzlies are tough.
They'll fight. We'll see if it's enough.
We will. And lastly.
I added one thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it.
Lakers cut Boogie Cousins to make room for Markieff Morris.
Yeah.
Right? Or
what do you
Marcus
think
Morris,
about that? It's Markieff, yeah.
Markieff. So Boogie wasn't going to play anyway. So, I mean,
He was getting shots up at practice while Markieff was doing his first day at media. So,
it's tough because Boogie, this is a guy, I mean.
He's just not having good luck.
It's been a rough 2 years for Boogie. And my worry now is that have we seen the best of him and is it all downhill from here going forward? I hope not. Again, I hope he's able to rehab and get himself back. But that's all he's been doing is rehabbing. Some team signs him on a 1-year deal. Hopefully he gets to show out, put up numbers, and he gets a chance to get another contract. Because,
I hope so.
We're talking about livelihood and, the long-term of, security of a player, and it's tough.
I mean, hey, look what Dwight Howard did. So,
We're rooting for Boogie, though.
Definitely, 100%.
All right, now we're going to close out on something so interesting. I'm going to give Jenna the floor. She got into some social media beef. I don't know. All of a sudden, I see Jenna in all caps on Twitter talking about who cares about Zion's weight? And I was like, I don't even know. So why don't you? Because I don't even know what happened. You set this up.
I felt like Kendrick Perkins. I was.
By the way, Perk, you still open seat on this pod, my man.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to that. Don't you get me going about that. Hits me up after All-Star too. Yeah. I was like, oh, where you been?
Really bad. Yeah, you
were
in Chicago, homie. You could have,
You missed the pod in 15 before that, but we'll talk about it. Anyway, but I have to show love to Perk because while everybody was gaslighting me on Twitter, he stuck up for me.
Okay,
so let me give you guys a little context quick. So, I was watching Twitter, I was watching The Jump, I was watching SportsCenter, everything. The constant conversation around Zion Williamson's weight is so frustrating.
Okay.
Only because, don't get me wrong, I understand it from a medical staff, from a team standpoint, from a longevity standpoint, from his career standpoint, all that shit. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'm not an idiot. I get it, people on Twitter. I get it. But when you have some of these non-journalists hiding behind their computers coming out like Zion's fat, Zion's this, Zion's that. Bro, he's 19. He's playing incredible basketball. So why are we even discussing his weight right now? Has the team come out and said, oh, we took Zion and put him on a nutrition plan because this and that? No, Zion's showing out and he's doing great things. So in the heat of my feelings the other day.
You were all in your feelings.
I tweeted in all capital letters. I honestly didn't think anybody was going to care. I tweeted, who cares about who cares about Zion's weight? Capital letters.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you.
Lit Twitter up.
Your girl went into a meeting at work. I came out. I was like, oh my God, am I popular? My phone is blowing up. No, your girl wasn't popular. Your girl was getting bashed. People were hitting me up with -5 followers, his knees, that's who cares, his doctors. And I'm like, bro.
Well, Twitter, everyone's a doctor, everyone's an expert.
People almost made a Twitter account that was like, Jenna hates knees. Literally. I was like, are you kidding me? So it's now almost at 1,000 likes. So thank you for all the people that liked it. But for all you people that hated on me, I respect your opinions. But I had to tweet after that to put some, background behind my tweet because people were coming at me. I had to shut my notifications off for a while. Kendrick Perkins, however, stepped in and people eased off me and went to him, thank God. Thanks, Perk.
Good job, Perk.
But yeah, I mean, I just meant it from a standpoint as you people are saying certain biased opinions without any factual information behind them, and you're not even associating your opinions with his game.
Right.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, Twitter, Jenna. Twitter's
I know,
hot take
but I have to say that it was one of my first doses of kind of a little.
And anytime you say anything, it's opportunity for, and it's about groupthink, everybody jumping on.
Oh my gosh,
that's just what Twitter is.
I had people texting me Jenna, what's going on with this tweet? I was like, guys, I don't know. I better hide my face.
I will say this, right? New Orleans clearly, their thing with Zion is they want him to play as long as possible, right?
Of course.
So they're going to be working with their staff, with Zion, with a variety of people to make sure that this young man can play for a long time, right? Because he's a large human, right?
Yeah.
And he's so explosive.
Yeah.
And we don't want any knee issues,
Of course not.
And so, it's easy to jump on the weight and all that and whatever. Look, I think what matters are the Pelicans and Zion and the performance team and the medical team and Zion's team, are they in communication about what needs to be done to make sure he plays for a long time? Knowing Griff and knowing the people around there?
Yeah.
I'm sure they are. So people, don't you worry. They know what's going on.
Well, exactly. Another reason why I tweeted it too is because it's not like the team or the medical staff or anyone has come out and this was a
Well,
topic.
They would never say that anyway.
No, but but it's not even like this was a headline or the Grizzlies say they're working with Zion on whatever.
Pelicans.
Sorry, I have the Grizzlies on my head. But yeah, it wasn't even a topic. People just keep bringing it up, and then I think about how the NBA is such a proponent for mental health and this and that.
Right.
Lay off the
Right,
19-year-old kid who's still, mind you, growing.
Right, yeah.
Let's look at
He's
those
19. He's
those
19.
facts,
Yeah.
okay?
Everyone on Twitter needs to just chill out, man.
Yeah.
Like, look,
don't be bullying your girl.
like I get it. Like Twitter's for jokes and whatever, but you know, the incessant piling on, it's like, all right, man, we good.
Literally.
We good. We
Yeah.
good, people.
Okay, that's it. that was a rough day. Okay, Zion, I got you. Took a hit for it, but I got you.
Folks, you know where to find us as always. Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, CLNS Media, at 7 Footers Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, at JS Hector, at Jenna Lemoncelli. Rate, review, download, subscribe. You know we'll be back next week.
That's right, guys. See you next time.
Peace.
Yeah, when did you see that tweet? Were you like, what is happening?